I have known the Rubin family since I came to Hudson Montessori. Before Jack's arrival at the middle school, his mom told me, "Wait until you meet Jack. He is a ray of sunshine." And she was right. He is such a unique individual, magical, if you will. He's joyful and magnetic, and people are happy to call him friend. Jack is confident as he speaks his mind in our community. He is comfortable as he guides novel discussions, participates actively in current events, and he often expresses creative methods of problem solving in our math seminars. If only we could read his writing on the smartboard. He utilized his natural leadership ability as he conducted council meetings, and he brought forth issues to be discussed. Jack has no problem standing up for his principles, balancing the needs of himself, others, and the community as a whole. Jack stepped easily into the role of technology manager. He helped our class transition to the use of Google document sharing, was always willing to show fellow classmates how to create spreadsheets and to deal with any of their tech dilemmas. He led a music expression with Mr. Rhodes, and he showed all of the other students his passion for guitar. Jack was the first one to raise his hand and volunteered regularly to accomplish tasks in our environment. He shared the duties of holiday sale manager, keeping us organized as he tracked orders and collected money. In these and all the other roles of leadership, Jack is well respected by his peers. You may not simply disappear to Western Reserve Academy like poof of flash paper. You have to come back and visit this place that you've called home for such a long time. I give you Jack Rubin.
Everybody starts off their speech this way, but I have to say it. My time at Montessori has been fantastic. I've learned so much more than I ever thought I could, and I've loved it. We learn in a different way than other schools. We make real-world connections through what we study. For example, we did not just read the Epic of Gilgamesh, but we created a script based around it and acted it out. I played the grass-eating man known as Enkidu. I have made memories with friends that I will remember for years to come. Thanks to all the awesome friends that I made. In Children's House, I remember spending hours with materials like the pink tower and the brown stairs. It sounds silly, but my friends and I pretended that our hands were cranes and the blocks were bricks. In those early years, we were learning the basics of math, good ethics, manners, and living. We began learning cursive, and I am proud to say I am one of 3 in the class of 2014 that still uses cursive, even though it may not be the neatest of handwriting. Something I noticed as I began writing the speech is how we are still refining what we have been learning since Children's House. We continue to use materials in creative ways, and we never just study from a textbook. We look beyond the subject and see what real-world connections can be made for that subject. For example, we have math on academic days, but every Friday we have math seminar where we solve real-world problems with any method. Every subject has applications that matter. My whole education here has felt real. In the middle school, we discussed the ethics and manners that make a community run. I think these can be applied to my high school, college, and years beyond. I'm glad that in the middle school I did not only learn strong academics, but strong life skills. In all my years at Montessori, I have never really felt stressed out. I think something that is important is that we have been having fun all these years. In upper elementary, I wrote short stories with my friend Ian about a green-haired red fox that always tried to steal from a wealthy dog. It's a strange story, but we had fun writing it every week in our spare time and school time, and we were having fun while we did it. I will be thanking many people in this speech because there have been many people that have made my time at Montessori fantastic. Thank you to Mrs. Blatnick, who taught me the fundamentals. Thank you to Mrs. Wexler, who taught me responsibility and strong stepping stones. Mrs. Chin always made class fun, and Mrs. Clune was always there for bird watching. Thanks to both of you. Thank you to all my great middle school teachers, because without them, thank you to all my great middle school teachers who have helped me become the person I am today. Thanks to my parents, because without them I would not be here. All their support has been amazing. Thanks to my grandparents who came from New Hampshire to help support me. And thank you to my brother Alec, who I can come to on any questions about Montessori or Western Reserve Academy, where I will be continuing my education. I have had great, joyful times in Montessori. I know in the future I will look back at my time as Montessori as a great point in my life. Thank you.
Earlier this year, I shared with the students one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite actors, Simon Pegg. He said, "Being a nerd is all about being honest about what you enjoy and not being afraid to demonstrate that affection. It means never having to play it cool about how much you like something." Basically, he is saying this: being a nerd means never apologizing for how much you love something. I shared this quote with the students because, by this standard, everyone should be a nerd. And I'm here today to confirm to you that Trevor Moyer absolutely is. Because one of the best things about Trevor is that he will never apologize for his passions. Indeed, he thrives on them and shares them with his community. He has been a great gift to us in this way. Trevor shared his love with us in so many ways. In the kitchen, he demonstrated his culinary expertise by sharing with us some of his world-famous recipes during community lunch and snack. In fact, I think Trevor would have provided every Friday snack if he had been allowed. Not only does this attest to his passion for the culinary arts, it also proves his generosity of spirit as a considerate member of our community, always wanting to give back to those around him. In the Commons, Trevor shared with us his deep knowledge of and interest in technology. What would the weather group have done without his keen video editing skills or his ability to use green screen technology? Oh, and Trevor, we all loved your weatherman bow tie. What would any of the guides have done without his help troubleshooting the many technology mishaps we've had over the years? And in those stolen moments during advisor lunch or between classes, we learned even more about what Trevor loves. From his cats, say hi to Boo and Pumpkin for me, to his favorite movies and books and anime, to his friends and family, Trevor shared with us an unabashed excitement for all the things that he loves, all the things that make Trevor Trevor. As you can tell, Trevor's talents and passions have permeated every bit of our community and will no doubt leave a lasting mark on us. We thank him for being a nerd with us all year in the best possible sense of the word. Keep wearing your passions on your sleeve and share them with Biomed Science Academy with the same boldness of spirit, my friend. I'm thrilled to introduce to you Trevor Moyer.
Tell me, and I'll forget. Show me, and I may remember. Involve me, and I'll understand. This Chinese proverb represents the learning style that I prefer. Classes that involve me and help me understand the content of the studies suit me much better than the traditional learning method of reading from a thick textbook. I will not remember a random fact from a book, but I will remember a fact if I can relate it back to an experience. At Hudson Montessori School, the experiences have been many and will remain with me for a long while. Starting in Children's House, we got to experience many things like gardening, observing nature, and drawing little maps. Memories that surface from Children's House are like diamonds, rare but very powerful. These experiences helped start my earliest stage of learning. I grew to love the natural world, which is probably why one of my favorite experiences from Hudson Montessori Middle School was our annual trip to the New River in West Virginia. While we were out in nature, we had the opportunity to learn lots of things by taking hikes, riding in the rafts, exploring the woods, and just seeing it with our eyes. My favorite part of the West Virginia trip was our day-long whitewater rafting trip on the Upper New River. We got to see the rock formations of the river, go inside of caves, look at the surrounding habitats, and get the thrill of riding through Class 5 rapids. Science has always fascinated me, because it explained the natural world, and this trip allowed me to see nature right in front of me. I learned a lot from our ragged tour guides, friends, and my own eyes, because seeing things for yourselves helps you learn things better than just looking at pictures in a book. Even though experiencing things by yourself is quite fun, if you learn things together with your friends, it is even better. Excitement in life seems to be contagious. When I think of other meaningful experiences, the microeconomy, cooking, and community lunch come to mind. In all three areas, we got to learn valuable life skills that we would use in the future. I really learned so much about myself and my independence. We got to learn how to jam, the basics of cooking through our community lunch program, grace, and courtesy. These skills will be very useful in life because many students that go off to high school or even college do not even know how to cook a simple meal. Community lunch also helped bring up my spirit because I was the maitre d' of the meal each week. I had to give a nice welcome to our guests and describe the food in a theatrical manner. I learned lots of skills at Hudson Montessori that I would not have learned otherwise, which has helped me prepare for the future. Montessori helped me pursue my passions because of the very open learning environment. Each class kept me engaged, whether it be by singing Libre Soy in Espanol or experimenting in science. Math, Spanish, humanities, science, and language arts were all filled with challenging subject matters, but rich in experiences that made all the difference. I have had experiences at Hudson Montessori School, made many friends, learned many things, and discovered some of my passions. This school helped provide a wonderful learning environment to suit my needs. During my time here, I enjoyed going to school each morning and learning from kind people. Hudson Montessori School taught me very important things, not only in academics, but very important life lessons that I would use in the future. They helped me jump over any hurdles that I may have encountered, and for that, I'm grateful. Hudson Montessori School has prepared me for high school, and all that makes me excited for my future at Biomed Science Academy. I would like to thank my teachers, family, and all of my friends. Thank you.
You may not know this, but at the beginning of each new school year, the students brainstorm a list of words that define who we are as a community. Words such as responsible, caring, helpful, confident, cheerful, honest. Samir was a part of the committee that made a graphic representation of these ethics, and it now hangs in our environment. When the class strayed from this moral code, he was unafraid as he called the group to accountability. He felt such ownership of these words, and I believe it was because they describe who he is. Samir is serious, but without taking himself too seriously. He possesses a fabulous smile, especially now that his braces are off, and he laughs easily with his friends. I'd like to share an example of his unwavering positive attitude. During our trip to West Virginia, when he was a 7th level, Samir didn't make it across the zip line. He was stranded halfway across, dangling above a deep ravine, and he had to be pulled to the platform more than once. He taught us some important lessons that day. Enjoy every moment, keep moving forward with a good spirit, and put some heavy rocks in your pockets. Samir has been the jam manager for our microeconomy, but he set that aside temporarily last fall to become our holiday sale manager. He was so efficient as he kept the committees on schedule for the largest delivery day that North House Specialties has ever experienced. He has also become quite an entrepreneur. He made Frobel stars and parachute cord bracelets to sell at his own table at a craft show. And this summer he is working to care for our raised bed gardens as well as being an umpire. The practical skills that he learned at Montessori have spilled over into all aspects of his life. I can't wait to hear what he's up to at Walsh next year. I would like to introduce Samir Jan.
Joseph Campbell, a writer and philosopher, in writing about the meaning of life, states the following: "The big question is whether you are going to be able to say a hearty yes to your adventure." I have been prepared to venture in life throughout my education at Hudson Montessori. Whether it was walking into school as a little child or paddling through the whitewater rapids of West Virginia, the lessons at Hudson Montessori have been incredibly valuable. I stand with the readiness for the diversity of the changing world. I have learned the importance of good actions and choices and the ability to work through mistakes. My guides have taught me the freedom of choice and a voice to resist the unethical changes society may present. My mind and soul have been immersed in the lessons of life. After studying and taking a class trip, my experiences came alive and I felt attached to something. I realized the grandness of the world and our lives in comparison. We are set to exist in this world to understand the existence of the human race and our potential as a society. Montessori has not only taught me the skills for studies, but also helped me embrace the diverse culture among people. I have learned to appreciate the variety of cultures and values. To be in a school with the ability to choose your actions is the best of all. If there is always someone telling one what to do, when will they use their cognitive skills and try out their own ideas? The Montessori method allows for growth of choice inside oneself and the important responsibilities which may arise through those choices. Since I was a little child here, I enjoyed each day of my life. It is only after one starts to grow that he feels the need to focus on the struggles of a day. The experiences are still the same, yet the mind chooses to persuade the heart. One of the hardest transitions was from upper elementary to the middle school. At first, the workload seemed a bit overwhelming, and I worked ahead to ease myself. I then realized that sometimes we push ourselves too hard after a sudden transition. I took a breath and focused on my journey of life. Gradually, the work became easier for me, while I still maintained the high standards. Middle school opened up all of the lessons from previous years, and I flourished. I learned to work hard, achieve goals, and express my deep thoughts in discussions. Respecting opinions, ideas, and beliefs, as well as my own, was part of the learning process. My Montessori education would not have been complete without attending the middle school. Hudson Montessori is the only school I have known. The learning experiences I have known here feel like the lessons for life. There have been valuable friendships, and I am sad to see those friends move on to their separate high schools. This place feels like home, but now I adventure out to explore new capabilities and responsibilities. Life will continue no matter the circumstances, and I will have to make the most of my time. We all stand with the power to change the perception of the world before us. Although I cannot believe my time here has ended, I feel prepared. Thank you to everyone who has made this journey possible, including my parents, my friends, my guides, and countless others along the way. Hudson Montessori has come to a bittersweet closure, but I will maintain the skills and spirit I have gained here. If the big question is whether one has the will to live an adventure, my answer is a loud yes. Thank you.
Our students thrive each day in an environment where being yourself is what makes you fit in. Being a second-generation Montessori child, it only seemed logical that Clayton would be the epitome of an individual following his own path. Interests that range from skiing to raising pigs make Clayton the unique person everyone enjoys being around. This diversity of attentions includes a love of the land, which was a great fit for Clayton being in our middle school. As our garden manager, harvesting fresh tomatoes brought him the same joy as others received from scoring a soccer goal. When it came time for spring science occupations, Clayton decided to expand upon his earlier chosen research and help build our new compost bins. He eagerly tackled the construction, and his group has left a legacy that will benefit our gardens and future classes for years. Clayton's commitment to the community extended well into Hudson. At the first farmers market of the school year, Clayton was on the first shift, helping to set up the display table before embracing the opportunity to interact with the public as he described our microeconomy with confidence. He also represented HMS when the Hudson Environmental Awareness Committee asked students to meet with the mayor and discuss the various environmental issues being tackled at the city's schools. Clayton's confidence in making his own choices and his friendly demeanor have been an asset to us all, and Gilmore Academy is lucky to have him next year. I present Clayton Tomasek.
Henry David Thoreau reminds us that, and I quote, "We need the tonic of the wilderness. We explore and learn. We require that all things be mysterious and unexplorable. We can never have enough of nature." He states that we need the wilderness, the natural world, and that we must explore. But we also require things be unexplored and left to mystery. To explore and learn is to discover the world around us, to be there in it, rather than only hearing about it. However, we always want to have a sense of curiosity about the unexplored. That is why we require it. Being a part of or present in something means a lot more than just hearing or reading about it. The idea of being a part of something through the use of hands has allowed me to learn. This has been the gift of my Montessori education. My Montessori education has helped me to be who I am. The friends around me, the teachers, the materials, and the environments have truly created a place for me to grow. I remember when I was in the Children's House class and I used the pink tower, the cylinders, and many other Montessori materials. In the first class of Montessori, I, as well as many others, were taught to respect our natural worlds. Everything in the environment has a purpose, and it should be cared for. The idea of care of the natural environments continued through the elementary years. Each classroom had their own garden bed, and classroom animals were kept. These were some of the few things that showed a care of the natural worlds. Even though I did not know it at the time, I was learning to respect and value our natural worlds. At first, as children, we explored the environment, but now we study the work of environmentalists and naturalists. And many of the Montessori materials, the ability to work with my hands has allowed me to work in a way that makes sense to me. The use of the cylinders, pink tower, and metal insets were a few of the many Montessori materials I used. These materials were the start of my Montessori education, with the use of my hands. I have used my hands to not only learn, but to work and create as well. I use my hands to create music on the piano and use them to create art and sculptures. With the use of the hands comes work, which comes into everyone's lives. This has happened to myself, as I may be working in the garden as a microeconomy project or any sort of grounds work. Work and importance of hands continue through all my years of Montessori, from Children's House to middle school. I use Montessori materials, numerous art projects, and other work as work of the hands. This kind of work has formed me to be who I am. More than 10 years of Montessori education has prepared me for everything in life, even though I have not always been aware of it. Now, as I continue my education at Gilmore Academy, I hope and plan to use the knowledge and skills I have learned here at Hudson Montessori School and apply them at Gilmore. I plan to use my hands to allow myself to learn. I would like to thank everyone who made my education here at Hudson Montessori School possible. I would like to thank each of the teachers I have had, friends, family, and all who have supported me. They have truly been there for me in so many ways. My teachers have guided and challenged me, while my family has been supported in everything I do. The skills I have learned here, the friends I have made here, and the memories that have been given to me are a part of the foundation to my life. Everyone has truly prepared me for the next step ahead. Thank you.
Anybody walking into a new community would be nervous and anxious about her new surroundings. But that feeling